frozen food, extra employees, and an emphasis on takeout. Is there any money-saving strategy Chili's hasn't tried? Stay tuned to find out as we examine why Chili's is so cheap. The sheer variety of flavors on Chili's menu means ordering out will never be boring. However, it also confirms the suspicion many of us already believed. Most of Chili's food is frozen. A self-proclaimed bartender and server at Chili's divulged in a Reddit AMA that chicken wings and fries are the main culprits to be stashed in the icebox before hitting the fryers. Similarly, another employee came forward about the soup, which arrives frozen in bags that are thawed before serving. At this point, restaurant chains relying on the freezer is as scandalous as water being wet or grass green. There are simply too many dishes on the menu to expect employees to prep batches of Southwest chicken soup from scratch or peel potatoes by hand constantly. Of course, it wouldn't be fair to say everything is frozen. The bountiful green salads and guacamole certainly disproves that belief. Regardless, Chili's menu is undeniably huge. There have to be shortcuts for a wide array of entrees to actually be affordable, and frozen food lets Chili's accomplish that. The microwave is used as a shortcut by restaurants to avoid preparing fresh food on the spot, and for a majority of establishments, it's understandable. But that doesn't stop restaurants guilty of the practice from getting heat for it, and Chili's is no exception. To keep up the speedy pace demanded in any dining room, food needs to be ready at a moment's notice and served promptly. If that means reheating bread rolls so they're steaming upon arrival, so be it. A former Chili's employee shed some light on particular menu items that typically get reheated, saying on Reddit, the tortillas for the fajitas are all microwaved for about 20 seconds to warm before serving. The molten lava cake and cookie skillet are also warmed in microwaves. The same apparently goes for broccoli sides and any dishes that are deemed too cold. As one alleged employee succinctly put it, if you complain that your food isn't hot enough, it just goes into the microwave. For a cheap buzz, Chili's margaritas are hard to beat. While a frozen Rita won't cost $1.50 like Cheers magazine says it used to, the drink is still a good bargain by any measure. So what's the secret? According to a Chili's employee on Reddit, the refreshing beverage is so bountiful because it's made with a mix. As the alleged employee writes, the restaurant receives a powdered sweet and sour mix from suppliers, which is stirred with triple sec, tequila, and water. This process explains why Chili's can mass-produce it in such large quantities. Compared to concocting a high-quality margarita by hand with fresh ingredients, using bulk powder is more convenient and goes a lot further in quenching diners' thirst for happy hour booze. Additionally, the cost of liquor needs to be taken into account, and for a restaurant pouring $5 margaritas, this can add up quickly. It's clear Chili's prioritizes quantity, and as long as it can continue pumping out all the drinks, it'll use whatever's the most cost-effective. Families seem to be the prime demographic at Chili's, and the kids' menu is evidence of that. In addition to pint-sized pizzas and grilled cheese, Chili's serves a dish little ones probably already know by name: Kraft macaroni and cheese. Even as fans of the cheesy childhood favorite, we can't help but admit this feels like a bit of a cop-out. Eating out should be an indulgence. Why bother ordering something you can purchase from the supermarket and make at home? Still, it's no mystery why this pantry staple is so popular. Kraft macaroni and cheese is affordable and takes little time to prepare. If Chili's knows that children will devour Kraft by the bowlful, preparing an artisanal pasta with premium cheddar would not only be a waste of time, but money. At the very least, parents with picky eaters can appreciate the gesture of familiarity. According to Scrape Hero, Chili's has over 1,200 locations in the United States. Naturally, it makes the case for having a lot of employees to keep things in motion. According to the National Restaurant Association, Chili's is an anomaly in its hiring habits, with employees being hired at double the rate compared to the national average. A fact sheet provided by the chain shows at least 120 people work at any given location. It seems hiring people in abundance runs counter to a chain like Chili's. But as Restaurant Business notes, maintaining a steady, trained labor pool actually reduces hiring expenses. FSR Magazine reported that the chain has saved $21 million by investing in processes to increase employee retention, with incentives such as wage increases, health benefits, and training programs designed for career growth. Additionally, it retooled its hiring practices to secure the best possible people for every position. One example from Brinker International's sustainability report showed that over 2,000 employees garnered promotions under the Certified Shift Leaders program, which trains hourly members for management roles. As Restaurant Dive explains, giving existing employees opportunities for advancement reduces the expenses otherwise spent on scoping out new talent. Even during the COVID-19 crisis, KPRC2 Houston reported that the chain announced in May 2021 that 10,000 new part-time positions had opened up around the country. Without all those employees, the company likely wouldn't have raked in over $3 billion in profits in 2017, according to Statista. But a company's record gains aren't always felt by the people working beneath them, and this is shown by how much they're paid, which is to say, very little. According to Indeed, the average Chili's host makes $11.23 an hour, while servers and cooks make around $19.41 and $15.83, respectively. This is compounded by the fact that many employees work for gratuities, which lets Chili's get away with paying less than the standard minimum wage. Cutting labor costs makes room for customers to enjoy abundant amounts of food on the cheap. Certainly, Chili's is not the only restaurant to blame for a measly pittance, and change does appear to be coming, if slowly. In 2021, Restaurant Dive reported that parent company Brinker International raised hourly wages to $17 to maintain worker morale, and plans to bump up the hourly wage as a whole to $18 by 2023. Chili's may be associated with bustling dining rooms and its legions of servers, but that hasn't stopped it from dipping its toes into the digital stream. During the pandemic's peak in 2020, Chili's launched a virtual brand of its own called It's Just Wings. According to Restaurant Business, the spin-off consisting of chicken wings and curly fries would operate entirely online, but Chili's locations would prep and assemble the orders for pickup. Considering Chili's confidence in this venture, it's clear why virtual brands are a business booster. The menus are usually small, so fewer ingredients need to be purchased. The equipment setup is minimal, as is the packaging for takeout orders. And if it's a large chain, it can utilize the kitchens and cooking supplies already at its disposal. Opting for takeout in favor of delivery costs less too, as no commission fees would be required, as is the case for third-party apps like DoorDash. Preparing It's Just Wings orders under the Chili's roof saves money in just about every way. Plus, Brinker International's focus on virtual platforms gives them more control over pricing, which leads to the kind of reliability and affordability customers crave. Upserve reports that over half of Americans order takeout every week, with almost 60% of millennials opting for to-go service when ordering from a restaurant. For a restaurant so focused on the dine-in experience, you'd expect Chili's to be wary of curbside pickup, but that isn't the case. It turns out, Chili's makes a killing on takeout, to the point where it brings in a 12% chunk of its total business. In fact, according to FSR magazine, Chili's success with off-premise dining factored into its largest gains made in over 10 years. Takeout at Chili's is nothing new, but compared to the convenience already baked into pizza shops or the drive-thru, a multi-course enchilada dinner doesn't exactly scream fast food. Brinker International CEO Wyman Roberts told FSR magazine that providing takeout as an option offers an upside for the brand in general. It's developed better packaging, improving the experience for customers and inspiring return business. And since Chili's already has a wide advertorial presence to begin with, the marketing costs are practically nil. Because the 3 for $10 meals are convenient for dine-in and takeout alike, Chili's succeeded in boosting its to-go business by 20% while maintaining the brick-and-mortar service it's known for. Versatility, in other words, helps Chili's prices stay in place. From DoorDash to Uber Eats, delivery apps are here to stay, but not all restaurants have been on board. According to Restaurant Business, delivery was off the table for quite some time at Chili's, mainly due to issues surrounding the transportation of its food, which the chain saw as too much of a risk to take. However, that all changed in 2019 when Chili's selected DoorDash as its official delivery platform. The chain reportedly piloted multiple companies before making its decision, and they say it's a decision that's paid off. with Brinker CEO Wyman Roberts citing in a statement the chain's previous success with quick service methods like takeout that have generated $330 million per year in sales. Though delivery apps like DoorDash nab a significant percentage at the end, hosting them has its advantages. The orders are processed through Chili's existing point-of-sale system, so it doesn't spend extra on software. It doesn't have to hire delivery drivers because contracted DoorDash employees will be tasked with dispatching the orders. Chili's doesn't even need to outsource its labor. With how many dishes Chili's serves, you could eat there for a whole month and never have the same meal. That's not always a good thing, though. The Chili's menu has built a bloated reputation over the years, with Today reporting that it boasted 125 items at its peak. Recognizing this was a problem, Chili's decided to make some much-needed changes. In 2017, it streamlined its offerings by 40% as a way of freeing up menu space and prioritizing popular items instead. And by popular, it means the items that made Chili's a household name in the first place: burgers, ribs, and fajitas. The benefits of Chili's menu reduction are apparent. There are the logistics of serving hundreds of different entrees regularly, which takes loads of time and money to do. Establishing a consistent brand identity is also an important factor. But most of all, it results in cheaper options customers want to flock to because they're high quality and affordable. Restaurant Business reports the chain experienced a 3% uptick in business following the cuts. So it's clear customers took notice of the change and liked what they saw. Big portions of food at low prices is what Chili's does best. And at the end of the day, it's what keeps customers coming back. Promotions are indeed the key to driving profits, but Chili's strength lies in offering those low costs from the beginning. In a report from FSR magazine, Wyman Roberts cites the value proposition of the Chili's menu, which emphasizes reasonable price points in favor of fleeting, limited-time discounts. Doing so reduces marketing expenses for Chili's and builds goodwill with loyal customers who crave the full spread at good prices without having to wait for a deal. They can go wherever and whenever, which encourages repeat visits. Many examples of this phenomenon abound in Chili's mammoth-sized menu. Take the 3 for $10 and the meal for 2 specials. Both deals live up to the promises they make of cheap, plentiful food that can be customized according to taste. In turn, this draws the consistent business Chili's depends on to remain so cheap. It's an illusion, but an illusion that works time and time again. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more mashed videos about your favorite restaurants are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.